Welcome, it's Bev from Living Fabulously, and today I wanted to do a walkthrough of your online business blueprint. So when you download the guide, you actually have this and you can print it out, but I'm taking this through to give you more information. So what we want to do is first go through the process of creating your lead magnet or opt-in. Now, I'd suggest in the first instance is to use Google Docs to create a handout of some kind. So a checklist or a guide, or if you are in the health space, you could do some recipes, something that's tangible and adds value to somebody. And you can use your Google Docs. And once you've created it, you save it as a PDF file in a Google Drive folder. And you need the link to that Google Drive, the document in the Google Drive folder, so that you can use this when you share the information. Then we're going to go into Canva. Now, Canva is a pretty intuitive tool to create images, and the free version gives you quite a lot of ability because you can use the templates. However, it doesn't give you as much access to photos. In the startup of my business, I spent hours finding photos that would match my particular opt-in or lead magnet or in my guide. And now the paid version of Canva actually builds it all in. So it's all in one place and it's fantastic. Some people try to create their lead magnet in Canva, and yes, it's possible because you can save to PDF there. However, you do need to know the placement of information, and it takes me much longer to do that. So I find doing the lead magnet in a Google Doc is much quicker, and it means I can edit it easily and place images in there if I like with quite ease. But you know, if you want to go ahead and do it in Canva, that's okay too. So you choose an image that really connects your audience to what it is you're offering. So it could even be a picture of yourself with some text next to it, a limited amount of text. You don't put a lot of text on the image, but basically a couple of rules here is you would not put writing through your face. You try and wrap the writing around a focal point, and the type of image size or template you're going to use is going to depend on where you put it on social media. I've recommended you start with Facebook only. Yes, you can go on to use Instagram later, and there's also other things like perhaps LinkedIn if you're in the business to business or business to professional type of work. But let's say we're starting with Facebook. You choose the Facebook post template, and then it gives you a whole lot of ideas of how to lay it out. So you don't even need to be a graphic artist. Next, we create your landing page. This is the place where you are going to send somebody to request their email address and their name. I prefer to, some people have the rule of thumb of just collecting an email address. The thing is, then you actually can't personalize your emails. So I asked for their first name only. And then on that same landing page, it's going to have your button, which allows them to click through and do that subscription. So then your next task is to create the content for your post to talk about your lead magnet. And you're doing this on your Facebook business page. The reason that you want some content is you need to paint a picture for somebody, like where are they now? Where would you like to take them? And why your particular lead magnet is going to help them. And we do this really succinctly. We don't want to paint war and peace. We just want a couple of sentences because we want the first opening sentence to be the most compelling so that somebody identifies, oh, this is me. And then they go on to say, well, how are you going to help me? So it's the outcomes and the benefits of buying or buying sometimes and also or downloading your free lead magnet. So you're writing the content for that, and then you're adding the link to your MailerLite landing page, and you're posting the image, so that that whole the 3 steps you've already done is included. You take that content and you repurpose it on Google My Business, so that if somebody Googles you and it comes up with your business page, they can right from the get-go get involved in what it is that you're offering. Your call to action is the call to action button on your MailerLite landing page, and it needs to be compelling. So once they've put in their first name and their email address, you want them to press that button. So it's a kind of something like I said, yes, give me my guide. It's something like that. It's an action-oriented statement on that button. And once they've done that, they basically are now subscribing to your opt-in. So they become a lead then. So a lead is somebody who has shared their personal information, contact information with you, and expects to hear from you. So they are now your subscriber as a lead. So all they're interested in so far is that opt-in. They then receive an email that invites them to download that opt-in. And that link there is to your lead magnet that's sitting in a Google Drive folder. And the way that they obviously download that information is they're going to just take a copy of it literally when they click on that, because you're only sharing it with them not to make edits on it, but just to download it. Next, you look at what we call a nurture sequence in your email system, which I'm recommending MailerLite. So it's a number of emails that, and probably I'd say on average 4, it's here's how to download your opt-in. Here's one thing you need to know about this opt-in that would support you, or about the topic that I'm sharing. Here's a case study if you have one, if you've been in business a while, but it could even be your own story or a case study of how you've done something. And then the last one is give some more value. So that's what I call a nurture sequence. And you do that as an email automation. Then as you've taken somebody through that journey, it would be appropriate to invite them to a free session. Some people call this a discovery call, but basically you're trying to work out the fit between you and this person, with the intention of supporting them to do some more work and get on board with whatever it is you're offering. So you make that short session, so maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and you're going to do that in your Acuity scheduling, because once they've accepted your invite to a free session, they become a prospect. A prospect is somebody who is further along the buying chain, for want of a better word, than a lead. So a lead was just curious about your lead magnet. Now the prospect, they're interested in talking to you to find out more. And this is where you then send them to a link from the Acuity scheduler. And Acuity scheduling is also a useful application that I find becomes the hub of what I would call your customer journey. So in Acuity scheduling, you can set up appointment types that have either no cost attached to them. So we would set up a discovery call for 20 to 30 minutes with no call attached to it. You can then create a confirmation email to that person to say, this is the time of your appointment. This is how we're going to connect, because you might want to connect with that person online. using a tool like Zoom. So you'd put the link to the Zoom. And what's wonderful about Acuity is when you link Zoom with Acuity, it automatically gives a unique Zoom link with the password embedded. So that's really helpful. So they get that first email, so they can then also, with a click of a button, all automatic from Acuity, they can add it to their calendar. 24 hours before there, you can set up an Acuity reminder email, which just prevents no-shows usually, so people get a prompt in case they've booked it a few weeks in advance. And that comes from Acuity, very easy to set up. And you're basically saying something simple there that, your appointments within 24 hours. If you'd like to cancel, now's the time, so that you don't waste your time waiting around for them. And then obviously a 1-hour reminder before the session. If you think this is all too much, you might just stop at the 24-hour email reminder. But the system is built to do these. You can do more reminders, but these are the 2 minimum that I suggest. And then what you do is have the appointment. Now, this is where you've used your Zoom link that has already been set up in Acuity. So it's connected to Zoom, and you use the Zoom link, or you give them a physical address if you're going to do this in person. But I would suggest that in most cases, I would say your discovery call needs to just be online. And you can build really good rapport in that session with somebody, because basically you're trying to find out about them. You're trying to find out about what their business problem or their health problem or their copy, whatever type of business you've got, you're trying to find out what is their primary problem. And when you know their primary problem, you can then see how could you help or support that person to take the next steps. And you can even, always upfront with people, I will say, I'm going to ask you some questions to see how I can help you. And if you're interested, I'll let you know. So that in that conversation, basically, it becomes an invite to paid services or products at the end. And it's something as simple as, this is what I think we could do together. Would you like to know more? Because you obviously want to put an invite to somebody. You're not going to just go for a hard sell. And then when they accept that, that's when they become a client. So that's how you set up your online business without spending more than about $33. You can use all these tools really easily together and make sure that they are connected to one another so that it flows easily. So you're already starting what I would call some automation for your business, which makes it so much easier to do business with you online. So one other tip that I'd like to give you is that on your Facebook business page, you can make the button at the top of your business page about your lead magnet, so that right from the first time when somebody comes to your Facebook business page, they basically can download that lead magnet as well. So I hope that's really helpful for you. And thanks for listening. Bye for now. And remember, let's live the fab life together.